Hello everyone, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Guru. If you haven't already subscribed to Motoroids, please smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload something new. This video is about sensible modifications that you can do to your own Jimny to improve its capabilities off-road. But before we get to that, let me set the scene a little bit for you. We will be traversing a few sections of the Pala River and a few rocky outcrops nearby. The Pala River originates in Nandi Hills near Bangalore and it meanders its way through Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu before merging with the Bay of Bengal just south of Chennai. I've been visiting the Pala River, going off-road with my club, the Madras Battle Axles. And you can find us on Instagram searching for Battle Axles. In my previous video, I went in depth into the modifications that I carried out to my own Jimny. In this video, we're going to be limiting it to the modifications that really make a difference off-road. My Jimny is more or less stock. The only real differences or the real modifications that I've done are the addition of bigger tires. I've installed the Goodyear AT Silent Track 215/75 R15s. I've also added the throttle tuner, which is by Ultimate 9. It's called the EVC. In addition to that, more recently, I've installed Radial-arm-mount protectors. Now you can stop with the mods right here and have a great time with recreational off-roading. However, if you want to compete or tackle more technical trails, then you will have to invest in a few more modifications to enhance the capabilities of your Jimny. What is a sensible modification level that you can do to your Jimny and take it to the point where you can actually consider competing off-road with it? And that brings us to the star of today's video. There's literally no time to waste, so let's dive right into it. Here's what's been done to it and why. Ultimate 9 evcX throttle tuner. The throttle tuner delivers direct throttle response and enhances performance by giving you power when you need it. Maxxis Bighorn 235/75 R15 tires. These are the perfect tires for the Jimny if you do a lot of recreational off-roading and the occasional competitive drive as well. That being said, these tires are very noisy on the road and negatively impact grip in the corners, under braking and in the wet. Overall, there is a lot more drag, more weight to rotate, and more reluctance to deviate from the straight ahead position at speed on the road. The 2-inch suspension lift kit by Tough Dog. Ground clearance is certainly an issue with the Jimny. The issue is more pronounced in the 5-door compared to the 3-door because of the longer wheelbase. The ramp over is compromised compared to the 3-door, with the chassis rails getting beached on top of a climb. To lift the body further up, you need to go for a suspension lift. Keep in mind that you have to get the correct rated springs and dampers for the build that you have in mind. If you have a build that has metal bumpers front and rear and perhaps a winch, then you have to get the appropriate rating springs to make sure that the sag is not too much. This Jimny also has metal bumpers in the front and the rear. These are higher up than stock, a lot more lower profile. They expose more of the front tires to hit the terrain first, and they will not come apart if you hit the dirt on approach and departure. This Jimny has some hardcore armor going on. A variety of under chassis protection to save the fuel tank, transfer case, differentials, the radial arm mounts, the rock sliders for the body as well. These plates give you peace of mind on rocky terrain and are invaluable in a competitive off-road situation. In the first review of the Jimny that I did in Uttarakhand, I pointed out that the radial arm mounts are really low on the chassis and are a very vulnerable point. I did not heed my own advice, and when I went off-road recently and did a very rocky climb, the Jimny basically sat down on a few rocks and damaged those radial arm mounts and bent them massively.
Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Turn to the left and come back a little bit. Come back. Reverse. Gently, come back. Turn left and come back. Turn left.
In order to stop this from getting any worse, I straightened them out as best I could, touched up the paint, and installed radial-arm-mount protectors from Swastik Fabs. The modified Jimny also comes with Tough Dog's return to center. This is a RTC return to center steering damper which helps when you have bigger oversized tires and a lift kit as well. It gives you more steering feel and reduces the kickback on off-road conditions. In the first review of the Jimny, I pointed out that the towing points provided on the Jimny from the factory are not suitable for hardcore recovery. What I mean by hardcore recovery is when your car is properly stuck in the slush or in the mud or even in the sand and you need to yank it out. That's a lot of energy going through a really, really weak point. It's meant for towing. This Jimny is equipped with proper reinforced recovery points. These are designed to distribute the energy from yanking or winching across a wider area of the chassis to prevent chassis damage. These are a must-have in any off-road vehicle. Lights. A smattering of auxiliary lights give greater visibility at night on the trail. Several competitions now have a night special stage. Without these lights, you will struggle to traverse the trail in the dark. The Jimny also has an Automech exhaust with a valve to change the amount of noise the exhaust creates. This exhaust goes loud. While the sound is nice, I find the drone really intrusive on longer drives, and I'm constantly worried about the cops flagging me down. So how do these modifications actually help? For one, the ground clearance has increased significantly. So don't get confused between a body lift and minimum ground clearance. The body lift basically lifts the sprung mass of the vehicle as per the rating of the springs. So if it's a 2-inch body lift, your sprung mass, which is your chassis, will be lifted up 2 inches from stock. What doesn't change is your minimum ground clearance at the differential or the shock lower mounting points, or in the case of a IFS vehicle, the lower arms up front. So there are other points where the ground clearance may not change even after doing a body lift. The biggest benefit of a body lift is to accommodate larger tires, taller tires. It is the addition of these taller tires that actually lifts the differential, the shock mounting points, your lower arms and your radial arm mount points further away from the ground. The increased ground clearance, coupled with the confidence offered by the under chassis protection, made this technical climb a breeze in this modified Jimny. Cameras don't do justice to this climb. It is far steeper and gnarlier than it looks in the footage.
Crawl. Super.
One look at my face should tell you all you need to know about how tightly my sphincter must have been clenched. Having a good spotter in these scenarios is absolutely critical, and I had one of the best in the form of Mr. Vijay from Madras Battle Axles. Notice how my eyes are glued to his instructions, and I tried to follow his suggestions and his directions as quickly as possible with as little delay as possible. A bit of drama once we reached the top, then attacked the steepest climb on this course. Before turning around and heading back down. The way downhill is equally technical, albeit slightly easier thanks to gravity. Watching out for the departure angle and the rear overhang is key. Keeping the tires away from the sharp edges on the rocks is another part of the challenge. Back on level ground, I can finally relax, but only for a few minutes because I'm going up next in my own Jimny, which doesn't have the improved ground clearance or the under chassis protection, and knowing that makes me a little bit concerned. Even with a quality spotter, the going is really slow with a lot of bumping and grinding of the chassis rails on the rocks. Thanks to the radial-arm-mount protectors, the most vulnerable bits are protected, but I still need to make sure that I keep myself away from the rocks that could hit parts of the vehicle like the transfer case or the differential. I finally reached the top, and there's a bit more drama. Finally, the Jimny finds traction thanks to the BLD, the brake locking differential, and manages the final climb. The descent is a tad easier, but equally sphincter clenching.
Stop potting, bro. To your left. To your left. Yep, gently. Gently, gently. Yeah, hold on. Cut right. Keep going. Perfect. Keep going. Slowly. Keep going. Left. Hold.
And I finally complete the course with all the blood having drained from my face. I can't tell you how good it feels to not get stuck on a course like this.
Which one was the better?
Easier? Definitely that one was easier.
But I thought you did a good job in stock.
I don't know. Stressful, man. In his, you want to try his?
I'm hungry.
Hungry, yeah.
Exactly, bro.
So despite the fact that both the Jimnys actually completed the course, one of them had a much easier time of it, and we know which one that is. Having conquered those rocks, I can't tell you how happy I am to be moving away towards softer sand. We are now entering the Pala riverbed, and this is where the sand is really soft. It's difficult to build momentum in a terrain like this. The stock Jimny, which is now a 5-door compared to the 3-door, the wheelbase has been extended. From what we can see, the suspension is identical to the 3-door, the ground clearance is identical to the 3-door. But when you have the same ground clearance and your wheels are further apart, this really affects your ramp over angle. Another issue with the 5-door Jimny is the increase in weight. So going from a 3-door to 5-door, the increase in weight with the same suspension basically results in a lot more sag, particularly at the rear. You basically lose some of your ground clearance, and it also negatively affects your approach and departure angles. The addition of low-profile metal bumpers in the modified Jimny exposes more of the tires to the course. Now factor in the 2-inch lift as well as the taller tire profiles, and you have made significant improvements to the approach, departure and ramp over angles. The second obstacle was chosen to showcase this performance advantage. The obstacle is basically a sandy valley with a soft sand descent, a hard trough bottom and a very steep sandy and soft climb out. At the end of the climb you have a sharp crest which you need to clear and then fall back down on the other side. The key to passing this obstacle is to have the maximum possible approach angle and the best possible ramp over angle, as well as a lot of balls to give maximum send on the way down the descent to get the momentum you need to clear it on the way up. Notice how close the front bumper on my stock Jimny comes to hitting the deck at the bottom of the trough. Now compare that with the modified Jimny. We are only talking of inches, but remember that these are static inches that would get erased under dynamic load when the vehicle is actually putting down power and trying to get out of this obstacle. The suspension would compress, bringing the front end even closer to the deck, or in the case of my Jimny, hitting the deck. Now here is my Jimny struggling to build enough momentum. Please remember, this is my daily drive vehicle and I have to be able to get back home in my own car under its own steam. You could obviously just get on the throttle and send it downhill, at which point the nose will hit the ground and create potentially massive repair bills. With the modified Jimny, however, you can be a lot more brave with the send. It still just about makes the top of the obstacle, but you can see how the improved ramp over angle allows it to roll off the crest slowly without drama. Now there are plenty of modified Jimnys out there, and a lot of them look like they were actually built for the show rather than the go. I doubt many of them would perform really well in a proper technical off-road situation. This particular Jimny has got a lot of the modifications right without going overboard. I can assure you that affordability was not a factor here, just making sensible decisions, making the right choices. Every single option was carefully assessed and studied before going into the build. And I tell you, the end result is a Jimny that absolutely nails the brief. The full list of parts and details of where you can buy them are down in the description below. If this video has been helpful and given you a better idea of what you can do with your own Jimny, please like, share and subscribe and drop a comment below. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching Motoroids. See you in the next one.